Hi, good morning, everyone.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Hope everybody can hear me and can view my screen, right?
Yes.
So, okay, so my name is Vijay. So, I'm working as a SAP delivery manager as of now. So, I worked for SAP HR, especially into time and payroll from past 18 years. So, initially, I will explain the scope of the program. Okay, before that, all you people should be aware of the basic configuration. In time management, you should be aware of configuring the work schedules, absences and absence quotas. Okay, so from there I will start from time evaluation, uh, how the time evaluation will be activated in the company for the employees. Okay, and then about the time evaluation program and the schema, from the basic concepts to almost all the PCRs and the real-time scenarios, which will work on a real-time implementation. Okay, similarly, in payroll, you should be aware of configuration, basic configuration, creation of wage types, and all this stuff. Okay, so in payroll also, I will start how the schema is structured, what are the standard PCRs rules, and how we'll write new PCRs for all the real-time requirements. Okay, so these are the basics which all you people should have before you join our program. Right? I think this is clear for everyone, right?
Yes.
So our topics in our program, you can see I will anyhow share this Excel to you people. Okay. So in the time management, we'll work initially with the negative time management, which is with the schema TM04. Okay. So how the quota will be generated through time evaluation. Okay, basing on some time types and PCRs. Okay, which we are going to write for different real-time requirements, which I have implemented in different clients. Okay, so you can see a few of the topics, okay, which will generate quota through time RP time 00 program. Okay, so where we have different scenarios. Okay, so if there are unpaid leaves, the quota should not generate for those days. Let us say, for example, employee is eligible for 30 days of annual leave. So we have to generate 2.5, that too based on his attendances. If employee was not present for few of the days, we have to reduce the quota. Okay, so this is one of the requirement. Let us say quota should be generated only after completion of prohibition for a newly hired employee. Okay, so quota for different bands of employee will have different eligibility for the quota. Okay, so the band can be employee group, employee subgroup, or pay scale type, pay scale level. Okay, whatever it is. Okay, so I will show you all the possibilities how we can bifurcate the quota basing on the structure of the employee. Okay, so again, leave carry forward. Okay, how the leave balance of the quota should be carried forward to the same quota or a different quota with some rules as well, like maximum carry forward should be not more than 15. Okay, so these kind of things how we can achieve through PCRs. Okay, so similarly compensatory of, for example, employee was not absent uh, for continuously say 3 months. Okay, so we have to generate sorry, this is comp off, right? If employee works on any weekly off or holidays, how we can generate comp off. Okay, so all these topics we will cover under negative time evaluation using TM04. And coming to positive time management, I will explain you the time pair, how the time pair will form basing on clock in, clock out, attendance, or how the time pair will form when there is an absence. Okay, once we understand the time evaluation process, what is the time pair, what are the attributes of the time pair, and all this stuff. So we'll generate overtime. So I will explain the standard way of generating overtime as well as writing PCRs to achieve different requirements of the client. Okay, for example, overtime, if employee works, say, for example, 5 hours, first 2 hours should be paid 100%, next 2 hours should be 150%. Additional hours, whatever we worked after 4 hours, it should be paid with 200%. Okay, in time management, we will generate 3 different wage types for this kind of requirement, and we will evaluate it in payroll accordingly. So in this process, I will explain how the time and payroll will get integrated through ZL table. Okay, what are the functions in the payroll which will call the time management clusters, and all this stuff I will explain. Similarly, in overtime, we have different. Okay, we have 3 kinds of overtime. One is generally out of planned hours, whatever employee work, some companies will pay as overtime. Okay, and some companies they will check with planned hours. If employee works more than the planned hours, they will calculate it as overtime. In some companies, we will have approved overtimes. Okay, with using 2007, there is a standard logic given by SAP. So all these things we will work on overtime. So similarly, we have weekly overtime. In some companies, they will see, for example, for a week they will have a fixed hours like 40 hours. If employee works say 45 hours in a week, so 5 hours will be overtime at the end of the week. Or recalculation of the week means once he reached the 40 hours in a week, the time evaluation should recalculate from the day 1 of the week, and it should recalculate because whenever employee works overtime on say weekly offs or holidays. Okay, so client requires to pay additional amount for those hours. Okay, so there should be a recalculation to achieve those kind of scenarios. So the same thing getting here also. So time bonus again, as I said, if employee works continuously 3 months without any absence, system has to generate a bonus wage type for them. So unauthorized absence, again we have a topic which their employee was not present or absent on a particular day. System has to identify those days and it should generate some time types for reporting to HR or reduce the salary if required. Okay, so leave recovery, if employee utilized more leaves and left the organization separated, how system has to calculate the recovery days from the time evaluation again to payroll. So late coming and early going is one of the concept where almost all clients will have this requirement. And daily hours for industrial workers, we have to calculate how many hours actually employee worked within the planned time, which should be paid for the employee in the payroll again. So these are the time management topics which we are going to discuss. Okay, so coming to any questions on time management from anyone? I think few of the guys had attended yesterday as well. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Sir. Hello, sir. I'm Tushar.
Pardon?
I'm Tushar.
Yes,
I
yes.
just wanted to ask you. There is point number 2 in generation of time types. This solution we can give as in payroll as well, no? If you want.
Time generation of which one you are talking about?
Over time first 2 hours equals to number of hours into basic per hour rate.
Yes, this valuation will be in payroll. But wage type identifying the hours will be in the time management.
See, in my last client, we gave them a solution. Yeah, actually, I'm not gave them solution. My senior consultant gave them a solution. We maintain one info wage type in InfoDype 8 and one wage type we created in InfoDype 15. They just wanted to maintain InfoDype 15 and give their how much rate. There is one slot now where we maintain days, hours, and months.
Yes, yes. I got
When
it.
he run, sir.
See, that
So
is, Tushar, that is the manual maintenance, actually speaking. Okay, so we can maintain 15. Generally, we will maintain it in 2010. If time evaluation is not there, let us say, for example, we don't have clock in, clock out. Okay, we have an option in payroll again. We can maintain number of hours and different wage types in 2010 or info type 15. Those can be validated again. Okay, and the rate, okay, whatever you said, okay, it is not required to maintain in 8 again. Okay, there is a straight option in payroll, okay, to calculate the rate per hour rate for the employee. Okay, all these things you will able to know in this session.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you.
What SAP had given, we have different solution. Okay, whatever I am giving is the actual solution, automated solution what SAP had given.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So coming to payroll, okay. So payroll again, as I said, you should be aware of the basic, configuration like pay scale structure and all this stuff. Okay, maintaining info type 8 or 15 or 14, whatever the wage types the client had. Okay, so I will start explaining about the schema initially. What exactly? So as Tushar said, so initially we'll work on valuation of time waste types. Okay, so the valuation of time waste types is nothing but how system will by standard, what are the PCRs are there to capture per hour rate of the employee. Okay, we have something called X010, X013, and X015. There are three PCRs given to calculate the per hour rate basing on the salary of the employee. Okay, so and similarly, we will evaluate whatever the ZL means time wastage we are getting like overtime or leave encashment or unauthorized absence. All these things how we can evaluate for them. Sometimes it can be payments or deductions. So all the standard logic apart from I will get to some real-time scenarios to give the solution. What Tushar said, similar kind of scenario we will work on. Okay, so again, in payroll generally we will have broadly four categories. One we will call it as factoring. Okay, where there is unauthorized absence or employee joins in mid of the month. Okay, or unpaid absences, the salary should reduce. Sometimes in factoring we have few requirements like there is a leave type. Say for example, educational leave. If the employee gone on a educational leave, only basic should get paid. Rest of the elements should not get paid. Okay, so all these requirements, complex requirements are there in factoring, which we are going to work in depth, on many of the scenarios. Okay, so similarly, we have second topic will be time-based step valuation. Okay, so in the payroll itself, we have a subschema called XT00, which will work on different logics related to time data. Okay, so the other part is retroactive accounting. Okay, so we'll see the entire retroactive accounting, the standard part, how SAP has delivered for us. Apart from that, how we can create our own custom career wage steps in the retroactive accounting. So there are different tables like difference tables, ORT table, ORT table, all this stuff we are going to learn in the retroactive. Okay. So processing classes. So we'll take example of again in the payroll, the tax calculation is one of the important part. Okay. So different countries will have different kind of tax calculations, but here in our program, I'm not going to cover any country specific. Okay. Apart from that, I will take a simple example of a international country, and we'll try to address with some small slabs, okay, and some exemptions, or you can say, deductions, okay, which we have to reduce to calculate the taxable income. Okay, so in achieving all these tax calculations, I will tell you how the processing class will work. We'll create our own custom processing class. So basing on the processing class and its specifications, we'll write some logic in the PCR rules. And moreover, whatever the topics we are discussing, okay, in the same time, we are going to work on different standard processing classes as well. Say for example, if you are working on factoring, it is completely based on processing class 10. Okay, so what are the PCRs are there to understand processing class 10? All this stuff I will explain. Especially time management, we have processing class 01, whatever I said, right, to calculate rate. So that is based on processing class 01. Okay, all these things I will explain. Apart from that, we will create our own custom PCRs, processing classes, and we'll create PCRs on that so that we'll understand every processing class how it will function. Okay, so apart from that, I will explain how we will create a custom payroll function. Okay, so I will explain the basic ABAP. Okay, and I will explain the entire procedure, and we will insert the custom function to see the output. Okay, so for the same tax example, okay, we'll create a custom table. From there we'll call some data. So to calculate the tax, we'll maintain slabs in a custom table, and we'll write some ABAP logic in that. So the same custom function we'll use in the schema, and we'll check how it will execute. Right. So apart from that, I will explain payslip. Okay, so there is a transaction called HR forms. I think many of the people knows that. So many times payslip will leave it to ABAP guys, technical guys. So, but it is not really required. The basic payslip we can design without taking any help of ABAP. Okay, especially the PDF form. So those things I will explain. So apart from that, we all know the recent days we have employee central payroll, where we have we'll process the payroll instead of running in the back end, we'll run in the front end using payroll control center. There is a concept in employee central payroll. Okay, so I will explain how this how our payroll will be executed in the front end and what the configuration we have to do. Okay, so this payroll control center, I will just show you the configuration and show you the process on the front end. So these are the topics which we are going to cover in the payroll part.
Sir, again Tushar here.
Yes, yes, please.
Sir, actually, I wanted to know when we start learning PCRs and all those things, that time we also came to know when we create some customized PCR for any specific client, that time we also came to know where we supposed to put that PCR in schema.
Obviously. Why?
Or
Because how I will explain here is initially we will work on uh, the schema itself, right? So in the schema we have different lines. Okay, for example, we have a schema like say international. Okay, for example. Okay, so every country has its own schema. Okay, but for any country, the process of the schema will be similar. Initially, I will explain. Okay, like if you see here, import traditional and payments. Okay, in this place, all the data from info type 14, 15, and all this stuff will come into picture. Okay, so if you are writing a PCR on a waste type which is in info type 15, okay, so on that PCR you inserted above this, uh, schema. Okay, so obviously we will not have any output. Okay, so we have to insert the PCR after this. So initially I will explain. Okay, here is the factoring. Okay, the salary will got reduced based on unpaid absences in this place. Okay, means inside this sub scheme. So I will explain the basic of whenever we are talking about a topic, I will explain the process and the data flow of the schema, so that we will understand what PCR we are writing, okay, what it should impact, and where to insert it.
yes.
Okay. So initially we will work on the basics of the schema, how it is structured. Okay, if you see any of the sub schema, so there will be a block begin and a block end. Okay, so how the block will reflect in the payroll log. Okay, and few of the standard functions like say Gen 8, what it will do. Okay, some of the standard PCRs to calculate a factor. Okay, some of the standard PCRs to evaluate the waste steps. All this stuff will work. Then only we'll create our own custom PCRs. Okay. And moreover, before we start or before we go to real-time requirement, we'll work on many of the simple PCRs instead of going to a complex PCRs. So once you people are aware of the basics of the PCR, then we'll go to the real-time requirement, and then we'll start working on the complex PCRs.
When we go in the real-time scenario, that time we can also ask ki this is the scenario, so how create we new PCR for that requirement?
Yes. So I will guide you any of the scenarios if you have. So I will guide you how to do that or how to achieve that.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Vijay Poonam here.
Yes.
Rather going for international examples, international payroll, can we do for the US payroll or any and country specific payroll example, so that will be helpful to learn the legislation also.
So no, Poonam, I can't take any country as of now. See, as I said in the payroll part, okay. So the only difference is the tax part. Rest of the things are same for all countries. Okay. So tax part, I can't really concentrate on only one country. Okay. And again, let us say, for example, Poonam, if we have payroll India. Okay. So for every calculation, okay, for India, for example, it's a configuration. We don't really change any of the schema for payroll India. Why? Because let us say, for example, we have tax calculation. SAP had provided us with the INTAX, which is a standard function. If there is a issue in the function, we have to raise to SAP. We should not modify it to with any PCR. For example, HRA exemption. We have a function called INHRA, which will do all the calculations. Okay, so INEPF, PF calculations, everything it will take care. ESA, we have different logics, different cycles in India. So INESA, there is a function. Okay, so it's all configuration in the tables so that the custom functions will act and it will give the output. If it is not giving the right output, we have to raise to SAP instead of writing PCR. So here we are actually concentrating on schema and the PCR part. So that is the reason we are not concentrating on the tax part here.
Okay, so you mean after this, once we learn this PCR schema, payroll PCR schema, we will be able to work on any country, any country specific. Yeah, even we don't know the legislation.
Yes, you can work on any country. Okay, legislation you are talking about tax. Okay, so whenever you are having tax, let's say US benefits you have. Okay, everything is configurable. Means you have to do the configuration for that. It's not writing the PC. Okay, moreover, when we are creating the custom function, I will tell you the basics of debugging the function. So for example, if a USPAX function is not giving the output, you will be able to debug the function. Maybe if you are not good ABAPer, you can take help of the ABAPer to debug the function again. So I will show you all the basics of debugging a custom or a standard.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll quickly see a simple example PCR. Okay, how it will work. Okay, we'll just take a very simple example. Let us say we have an employee. So I want to calculate, for example, I want to calculate some, say some 10% of this value, okay, to say a deduction wage type, for example. Okay, so I want to contribute some 10% of this wage type, okay, as a, some specific deductions. Okay, so how we can write a rule. That too will take some more thing like I have to calculate 10% of the basic salary, okay, for say for a employee subgroup, at the rate 1 is one of the group. Rest of the people it have to calculate 12% of basic, and the particular group should be evaluated with 10% of this basic salary as a deduction. So how we can achieve that? Okay, so I have few deduction wage types, if I'm not wrong. So let us say there is a donation. Okay, we'll create this 2200 instead of maintaining in 15. It should be okay calculated through PCR in the payroll dynamically with 10% and 12%. Okay, for this group it should be 10%. Rest of the group it should be 12%. So how we can achieve that? Okay, that is the example topic for the day. So is the scenario clear? What we are going to work?
No, Vijay, could you repeat it again?
So I want to calculate 10% of basic pay as a donation. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
For all the employees, it should be 12%. For this particular employee group, okay, it should be 10%. Clear?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So don't worry, PCR, how it will structure, the basics of the PCR, all this stuff. Okay, we'll start from the basics. So as of now, today I'm just showing it as a demo. Okay, so I'm not explaining more. So we have some attributes of the PCR where we have program class, where we have the PCR for payroll or time. Okay, as I said, the payroll and time PCR will not have any similarities. Okay, the complete process of the payroll PCR and time PCR is entirely different. Okay, so today we will just work on a payroll PCR. Okay, so whenever we are having a payroll PCR, we have to define the country. Whenever if it is a time PCR, we have to give star because time PCRs are not country specific. It is common for all countries. Okay, rest of the things we have.
Is it Z999 rule? So how we came to know that this which rule we need to modify?
I'm not modifying anything. Actually, I'm creating a new one. I'm just taking example Z999. Means I'm creating a new rule.
Okay.
This is entirely new rule. Okay, so once we understand the process, which PCRs are working for which purpose, say for example, factoring kind of thing, then we have to identify the PCR and we will modify it. Again, we will copy and we will modify. Generally, we don't modify directly. But all these things we are going to know once we start the program. So here I am just creating a new rule called Z999 and I am creating a rule with a text. Okay, so if you select this, okay, only if we log with this user, this PCR we can edit only if you log with this particular user. Okay, so that is what the check mark. Generally, we don't do this. So apart from that, there is no big attributes for the PCR. Okay. So once the PCR we have created the attributes of the PCR, so we'll come back and we'll go for change. So when we change, okay, the PCR looks like this without any logic or here. So selecting this, we can create, we have delete, create, and all these options. So once you create, you will get a very first node with a single digit space. Okay, so which is the PCR group. Okay, so I think many of the people are aware, right? When we do the configuration, okay, so we have you know PCR grouping and CAP grouping, right? So this is what the PCR group is. Okay? There are many standard PCRs which are predefined in payroll, especially for industrial worker. There are different rules. For salaried employees, there are different rules. For periodic wage earners, there are different rules. Okay, so if you see here in the payroll data, when we are doing the basic configuration, okay, in the basic pay, you can see here if an employee subgroup grouping for PCRs and collective agreement provisions. Okay, so CAP grouping is altogether a different one. Okay, even if these two are in the same table, okay, this PCR group meant for each PCR in payroll or time, which group, okay, the employee subgroup is for. Okay, so for example, if you see the documentation, okay, of the PCR group, this is used. Okay, we should not create our own. Okay, these are the standard delivered by SAP for the PCRs. Okay, so 1 stands for industrial workers, 3 stands for salaried employees. Okay, so likewise you can group your employee structure, okay, with a different number as per the use given by employee, and you can write PCRs accordingly. Okay, CAP grouping is altogether is the one of the pay scale element of the employee, like PCR CAP group, pay scale type, pay scale area, pay scale group, and level. These 5 elements will define the pay scale structure of the employee, which will be defaulted in Infotype 8. Okay, so this is altogether a different purpose, and this is the PCR. So that will be coming in the very first place when you start the PCR group. Like for example, for industrial workers, okay, down to 1, I will write a different logic. For salaried employees, I will write a different logic. Okay, so this is a provision for the PCR. Okay, so let us say if it is not specific for any of the group, okay, the rule is common for all the PCR groups, we can give a star. Stands for all the groups. Okay. After star, if you specify 1, for example, okay, for rest of the groups, it will go to star, and for 1, it will read the logic, whatever we are writing under the 1. So today I'm just writing irrespective to the group, it will meant for all the PCR groups. When you create a sub level, selecting the star, okay, so you will get a 4-digit space over here. Okay, so this will be the base type. Okay, so if you are writing irrespective to the base type, you can give 4 stars. Many times we can see in the PCR like this, or you can define your own base type over here. For example, I want to write logic on basic pay, which is I think 9010. So I will give a base type. So now I'm going to write logic for logic based on basic pay. So I can define base type. Similarly, in time management, this will be time type. When we are working the basics of the time type, I will explain what is the time type, what is the importance of time type, how we will use the time type, and all this stuff. Okay. So, but as of now, in the payroll, this will be the base type. So now I am querying basic pay again sub level. So now when I am giving sub level, okay. So from here I can write some logic. Okay, let us say this PCR will read in the payroll. So when it is reading, if it is basic pay, what I want to do, I want to take some 10% of basic pay. Okay, so before I take 10% of the basic pay, I have to add this basic pay again back to IT table, which we will call it as internal table in the payroll. So what I have some operations like ADD stands for add, WT stands for wage type. So then space star. Okay. So what this exactly will do? So let us say basic pay consists of say some 5,500. Okay. So when it is coming, it is reading in the payroll. Okay. So it will read this pay and it will add back 5,500 without disturbing the value of the basic salary. Here our motto is to calculate 10% of the basic pay without disturbing basic pay. Basic pay will be paid the same 5,500, but here we have to calculate 10% of the basic pay. So first we are adding back the value to the basic pay. Okay, so then I can tell like okay, like AMT is an operation where we call it as amount. We have amount, rate, and number. Okay, which we have AMT, RTE, and NUM. Okay, 3 operations we have to store the value temporarily in the PCR. Okay, so I can give like amount. Then I have this is the operation. We'll call it as AMT. Okay, so which it is going to calculate amount. So percent has given a operator over here. Say for example, 10. Okay, so what will happen? This wage type consists of say 5,500. So it will add back to the wage type, and the same 5,500 will be percentage with 10, and then this wage type I can okay add or subtract. Okay, subtract to any of the direction wage. Okay, so this simply calculate 10% of the basic, and it will subtract the 10% from the wage type 2100, which is a direction wage type. For example, I think it is 2200. Okay, so this is the straight logic, but here we have another condition for group. Okay, a particular employee group, it should be 10%, and rest of the employee groups, it should be say 12%. Okay, so at that time, before we write the logic, we can check the employee group. I'm just deleting these lines again. So we'll define it in a different way. So I can select. We have a operation called OET WP, which will give different values of the structure. If you press F1 on OE2WP, okay, you can see what all the operands. We all these things are operands. So here with OE2WP, we can check what is the company code, what is the payroll area. We have different things. Okay, cost center or employee group, employee subgroup, pay scale area, group level. Okay, all the things, standard things will be there available in this particular function to compare what is the function. Okay, so for example, if you see here, I am using OETWP followed by PERSG. Okay, so PERSG stands for, you can see in the documentation. Okay, it stands for employee subgroup. Okay, now after selecting this, if you create, you will get, I think this is employee group. Okay, so we just see changing this to PERSG. Okay, all these things you will get from the documentation. No need to remember. Okay, so this is subgroup. Okay, so when you select employee subgroup, you will get 2-digit place because employee subgroup is 2-digit. Initially, I will tell star and then I will give @1. So this is the employee group which I want to pay, means which I want to deduct 10%. For rest, it will go to star. Whenever you are defining any group, it will go to that. If that is not available for rest of the employee groups, it will go to star. Okay. This is how we can compare for this company code, this logic, for that company code, another logic, like this. We can bifurcate. Okay, say for example, now I will just do a valuation like amount percentage. Okay, say 12. Okay, and I will do ADDWT to 2200. Okay, so for @1 employee subgroup, I will do AMT percentage. Okay, so 10, and I will do the same ADDWT, the base type 22W. So this is a simple PCR. Okay, for example purpose, which I am just showing you as a demo. Okay, so now where to insert the PCR is again somebody asked, right? Is a logic in the schema again. Okay, so for example, we have schema X000, which we have to copy to our custom one whenever we are going to modify. Let us say I have created 9000. Okay, again, okay, in the payroll, when you process the payroll for the employee, you can able to know. Okay, initially, okay, let us say okay, so I have copied it to 9000, so that I'm just displaying the log, and if I'm executing, okay, so now there will be many questions generally. Okay, so for example, I will run for January. So when you are talking about basic pay, the very first question which we have to ask the client means the basic pay before factoring or after factoring. Means, let us say for example, employee was absent. Okay, there is unpaid absence for half of the month, for example. So instead of 5,500, the salary will be reduced to some 2,250 after this factoring. Okay, so now the first question we have to ask the client. So whenever there is a if there is an unpaid absence half of the month, so the 10% should be on 2,250 or the actual 5,000. Okay, so the question is after factoring means the reduced value, you have to insert the PCR after factoring. Okay, so if it is on, the answer is on the actual basic, which is on 5,500, you have to insert your PCR before factoring. Okay, especially this about this PCR. Okay, all this stuff we are going to learn step by step in our training program. Okay, so as of now, I'll just copy the factoring PCR. I will put my logic after Excel. Okay, which is a standard factoring PCR, which will reduce the salary based on unpaid absences, and it will calculate original value what is employee is eligible. Okay, so simply I just copy the factoring PCR as well. Okay, this is the factoring sub schema. So every schema will have a sub-schema. So whenever we are copying a sub-schema, this schema also we have to copy. For example, I will copy to 9AL9. Okay. So this 9AL9 I have to insert in the copied main sub-schema. So today I'm just explaining quickly because we have less time for the demo. So what we have to do, we have to keep a R so that the same line will be copied down in the main schema. So this is the comment line in the schema. So I will comment the standard PCR and I will change this to custom PCR. Okay, this is the procedure generally we have to follow whenever we are inserting a PCR into a subschema. So now I copied a standard schema 9000. I copied a sub schema 9AL9. I commented the standard schema and I have inserted my sub schema. So now I will open my sub schema over here. So this is the XVAL which will calculate the factoring. So here again I will insert a new line with placing I over here in the line item so that it will insert a line. Okay. So here you can see in the log. Okay. So in this place, if you see, all the waste types will be there in the IT table. You can see here, especially this is the waste type which we require. Okay, 9010. This is there in the IT table. So for calling the PCR which I have written, I will use a function called PIT, which stands for process IT table. Because this PCR I required input, IT table is the input for my PCR. So I will insert my PCR. Okay. So for the attributes, whenever we are writing on a specific waste type, okay, so you have to keep this blank, and parameter 3, it is not specific for a PCR group. It is general for all PCR groups. At the time, we have to give NOAB. Okay, these attributes I will explain in depth the later part. Okay, so these are the parameter 2 and 3. Generally, 4 is not in use as of now for any custom PCRs. Okay. So and this is the comment line and any other text we can give over here related to the PCR. So obviously our PCR should work as per our requirement. Okay. So now let us see running this logic in the payroll how it will get it. So I have given 9000 which was edited by us just now. So if you see in the log in the factoring, okay, as I said, this is a block begin and block end in the schema. Okay, so that you can see 3 more. So if you see Z999, the input of Z999 is this table. You can see 910, which is there with 5500. Okay, so now I want to calculate. You can see if you click on any of the other waste type, okay, the rule will not get processed because we have written rule only for 9010. Okay, if you see here, this is the rule. How it got checked? So it's checking ADDWT very first one. So it is checking employee group because employee subgroup is @1. So it is taking 10%. You can see how the rule got processed by double. The yellow part will be the rule, how it went. So it checked here, employee group is this, it is taking. If employee group is a employee subgroup is different one, it will go here and it will read further. Okay, so if you see the output now, okay, so you can see here 2200 is the waste type which got generated with 550. Okay, so since I am using ADDWT, this will be a positive amount. Okay, so if I want a negative amount, okay, so instead of ADDWT, I will use SUBWT, stands for subtract. So likewise, as per the requirement, okay, if you want the waste type to be subtracted or added, okay, so we can define that. So let us quickly run again once you see the output. So it should be with a minus value because it is a deduction. You see here, this is 550 with a minus 1. So likewise, the basic PCRs will be looks like. Okay, in the coming classes, we are going to work on different kinds of PCRs with normal examples. Okay, once we are aware of the time and payroll PCRs, the basic one, then we will go to the relevant topics, real-time topics, that too from the basic side. Any questions from anyone?
No, sir.
Okay. So what else in our demo? Okay. So similarly, I said, right, we have some other topic called payroll control center. Okay, there are some other things. Okay, just I will show you the some of the screenshots of not screenshots. I can't run the process as of now, but I will explain you. You can see here payroll control center, policy configuration, process management, alert management. So all these things are the latest employee central processes. Not only employee central, it can be used in Fury or HR renewal kind of things. Okay, so you can see all these are the processes. You have different active. What are the active processes? What are the upcoming process is nothing but say payroll is one process. Okay, so monitoring is one step in that process. Okay, say posting is one process. Okay, simulation of payroll is one process. Okay, these are the processes we will define in the backend, which will be displayed in the. You can see upcoming off cycles. Off cycle is one of the process. Okay. So in that you have Adobe off cycle and planned off cycle. Like Adobe off cycle is like correction run. Okay. So planned off cycle is like 267 will pay bonus for the employees. Okay, so kind of things. All this stuff. Okay, the general processes and the place where we will configure those things I will show you in the system. Okay, and I will tell the general process how it will happen. So once the process, whatever the completed process, you can see it. So these are the topics which I will give you the overview of the payroll control center. Okay, this will be the last topic in our program. Right, I think any questions from anyone?
Hi Vijay, I'm Satya.
Yes, Satya.
Are we covering off cycle in the backend?
No, not really, but I can show you what exactly it will happen. There is no big difference of off cycle and regular. Only we have some if and else condition. That's it.
Yeah, agree. Whenever we have some 1 cent issue, generally in the payroll we used to see 1 cent issue during the off cycle and retro cases. So we need some discussion on that scenario.
In the schema, how the off cycle will work, all this stuff I will explain. Especially
Okay.
the same thing
Yeah.
happened payroll itself. Okay, so you can see here something like if SPR means if it is a special run, means if it is a correction run. Okay, so it will not do anything. Okay, if it is not a correction run only, this factoring will happen. That is the reason the off cycle factoring will not happen. Okay. So these things, whenever we have the topics, I will explain. Especially off cycle, we will discuss again in the subschema when we discuss about retroactive accounting. If you see retroactive accounting, there is a if wo. Okay, so this if it is a original run, this rule will read. Okay, else means if it is not the original run, rest of the logics will read. Likewise, whenever we are going through our schema and subschema, I will explain what lines will read in the off cycle, what lines will read in the original.
Yeah. Any exercise we have pre-planned exercises for us to practice on the system so that we will be thorough as of the day.
I didn't get
Just now you show one example. Okay, just now you show one example of how wage steps are modified according to the rules.
Right.
So in your course curriculum, in the course curriculum, if you have any exercises to the students to be practiced to get thorough on the rules and something. In the course
how our program is, let us say we are discussing, for example, say related to factoring. Okay. So
yes,
I will tell you the basics of the factoring. I will tell you one scenario in the logic. So end of the week or before we close the topic, I will give you some other scenarios for you people to work on. So
Yeah, right. That is nice.
let us say I have 3 scenarios. 2 scenarios I will explain. One scenario I will give you as exercise. So in the latter part,
Yeah.
I think every Monday we will have a review. If you are stuck somewhere or if you are not getting any value, you can present your own screen and we will work on that. Weekly once we will do that exercise.
Okay. Thank you.
Vijay, what is the course duration?
It will be around 20 to 25 sessions per day. It will be 1 hour or 1 hour, 1.5 hour maximum.
Okay.
And weekly I will take up from Monday to Thursday itself. That will be 4 days in a week. So accordingly we have to calculate.
Okay. So around 1.5 month.
Yeah, obviously. So any other questions from anyone?
Can we have the classes on weekends? The 4-day schedule can be moved to weekends? Either
No.
Monday to Thursday or.
No, Satya. Unfortunately, as per my timings, I can't take the session rest of the day. And moreover, the timing is also fixed. Okay, it is from morning 9 to 10. Okay. So those things I can't really afford because I can't stretch more than that, or I can't change my timing.
9:15.
It's not a big difference, 9 or 9:15. So better even that is tough for me as well, Tushar, because see, we are all working people. Okay, we everybody will be having their own, timings. Even we have people from different time zones as well. Okay, so even for me also, my office will start at 9:30. Okay, I should be there at 9:30. So what I am doing here is, fortunately or unfortunately, this is lockdown time. So we are at home, so that some half an hour or some 45 minutes I will cover my office times. The rest of the things, middle of the or before that also, I can't really change my time.
Okay.
So Chaitanya, are you there? So okay, guys. Thanks for your time. If you have any other queries or things, you can contact Chaitanya. Okay. So hope we'll meet soon. Thank you. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you, Vijay.
Thank you, Vijay.